Yeah, he looked very good there. Irish horses have a terrible record in the Triumph, but it's probably because for years those kind of flat horses have been sold away, whereas this year they're coming from everywhere. You know, Willie's bringing them in from France and everything. And O'Connor is obviously definitely the best of the Irish horses. Looked very good. He's very professional, jumps very well. A little worry I'd have about O'Connor is he won over 7 furlongs in the flat. Shows he's an awful lot of boot. Horses win over 7 in the flat don't tend to win the Triumph. Also Risky was the last one to do it in 1990. So it would lead him to being very impressive in a slower run race. In a tougher run race like the Triumph, it might just test his stamina. And maybe he has plenty stamina, was just classy enough to win over 7. Ruby thinks an awful lot of Far West, and he beat older horses last time. So, you know, it's going to be a good renewal, and we'll see how the Irish form compares to the English.
The top 3 in the betting have won this race since the Fred Winter was introduced. Do you think that's a fair assessment of the form in the race?
It is a fair assessment because there's a lot of these down the line that has no chance. Far West has won, I think, 4 out of 4, but he's won impressive, but he's won 3 and 4 horse races. I think O'Connor here, he's the best that Irish went over for a long time. Willie thought that Deska was a serious horse, and he crucified him the last day. And Rolling Star, he's a good horse as well, but I just, O'Connor is after doing so well this year that he's another one of the Irish bankers, I think, going over. And Desi thinks an awful lot of him. I know he's won over 7 furlongs, but I think he has great cruising speed, and he's a horse that you'd have to stay on the right side of. The other 2 horses, 2 good horses, and like it looks a 3-horse race, but I definitely have to stay with O'Connor.
Right. Tony?
I obviously the 2 English horses, Far West and Rolling Star. Far West, obviously River Meg will give you some sort of a guide after he runs in the Supreme Novices as to how Far West beat him the last day in Ascot and beat him fairly comprehensively. So if River Meg was to run well in the Supreme Novices, you know, you'd get a bit of a line on as to how good Far West form is. Rolling Star looks like he's going to keep improving, stays really well. You know, the two English horses, Far West and Rolling Star, what you have to do in the Triumph is stay, and these 2 horses look like they really stay. O'Connor might be the best of them, but he will have to really stay to get past these 2. So O'Connor could be the best horse, but I would be more inclined to go with one of the 2 English horses purely because I think they're guaranteed to stay.
Danny, you would agree with that?
Yeah, the 2 English horses are nice horses, but I'd be a fan of O'Connor. Brian Cooper said the last day now he's just worried about him maybe going down the back, how relaxed he was. So I think if he does relax like that in Cheltenham, he'll have no problem staying. He jumps great, and he picked up and ran away from Willie's best horse and Di Carley. I don't think Di Carley will do himself any favours in Cheltenham now. He's quite keen, so if anything takes him on now, he might run his race in the first mile. AP knows the English horses very well, and he seems to like them, but I think O'Connor now is a right chance for Ireland in this one, and Brian Cooper is a big fan of him now and what he's done so far.
I think I sense a doubtful runner. Vasco Roncesvalles, I have to be honest, don't know too much about. One there at a bigger price, 16 to 1, Lac Fontana, was tipped up by Pricewise at the start of the week. Hasn't won on 2 starts yet, but was heavily supported first time out, and it looks to be progressing with each run.
Okay, that was Lac Fontana?
Yep. Yeah, it was indeed.
Paul Nichols?
Yep.
One? Yep.
Yeah, I did a preview with Dan Skelton, and he was saying that they think this will run a huge race, and they're not going to give away his novice status easy. So they said they'll go with this, and if he wins this, they'll happily leave up his novice status. But if he doesn't, they'll take him back next year, and thinks he could be a supreme horse next year if he's not good enough for this.